Hello again, it is Clinton, and I'm back with more Destiny. This week is a bit of a quiet week, I suppose. I am just showing you in the background here some PvP Crucible footage using the Thorn on my Hunter. This was recorded over the weekend. It was on a Saturday night, actually, and yeah, surprisingly good gameplay. Saturday night is usually a rough night. The weekend, all the killers come out on the weekend, so it's typically hard for me to get any good games of Crucible Fridays, Saturdays, but I managed to find a match or two that I did not feel embarrassed to show off, so here's one of them. This episode, I wanted to talk more about weapon balance. Specifically, last week, Bungie dropped an update about their upcoming patch, their update 1.1.1, and this is going to address a lot of weapon balance issues for the Crucible mainly. But almost all weapons are affected by this, except the sniper rifle, scout rifle, and rocket launchers. Also machine guns, I think. It's a big update. I'm going to link to it in the description, so you can just check out the entire report at your leisure. But in this episode, I just wanted to maybe focus on a few of the points, starting with auto rifles. Now I just need to pull up the report so I can actually see it. Now auto rifles are getting a slight nerf to their range, according to their their sandbox designer at Bungie, John Winewski, I believe that's how you pronounce it. They're looking to further kind of like make auto rifles less effective at long range. Here's their bullet point summary. Goals. Auto rifle is optimal at close to medium range. Damage, stability, and range are tuned such that players desire stability for reliable close quarters damage or range for better accuracy at a distance. Changes. Reduce base damage of auto rifles by 2.5%. Reduce effective range values so that damage, fall off, and accuracy are a stronger factor in combat decisions. Range reduction is less severe in the higher stat values, so now your range stat is more critical to long distance engagements. So basically what they're saying is they want to make the base range stat more meaningful, and they also going to put more importance on the perks such as Hammer Forged and Send It to really differentiate the different auto rifles, right? So they're going to be auto rifles. Well, there already are a very distinct two camps in auto rifles. You have the low impact bullet hoses that are really good at close to medium range. It's questionable. I personally don't think those auto rifles are good at all for anything except for PvE maybe. And then you have the Galahad E camp of higher impact, lower fire rate. Thankfully, these changes are not going to affect longer range auto rifles like Sure's Regime, which still stands apart from all other auto rifles as like a very versatile and also long range, high impact, powerful gun. I don't know what to think about this. I'm using auto rifles less and less in PvP, I find. I still stick to my Suros and my Shadow Price, and every so often maybe my Galahad. I don't use anything else. So I don't think it's going to really change my style or change my mind about how to use auto rifles. I'm a little surprised that they're saying that players are using the auto rifles at all ranges and they find that they're effective at all ranges. I don't know how much of that stat is being skewed by Sure's Regime. Seems like quite a bit, but they only show some bar graphs here, and they show in PvP control, auto rifles are used 19% of the time, and they make up, I guess, the top half of the scoreboard. That's how they organize this bar graph. And then at a very distant second, you have hand cannons at 7%. So 19% to 7%, that's a huge difference. And of course, poor pulse rifles are down at 2% there in terms of like scoreboard relevance in Crucible. Anyway, I find that more and more auto rifles are being cast as these SMG style weapons instead of the more sort of like all-round assault rifle model that we sort of got used to when Destiny first came out. But hey, we'll see how it goes. Want to talk next about pulse rifles. I just mentioned them briefly. They say that pulse rifles are currently the least used across all of the Tower's warriors. No big surprise there. we want to push these weapons to become a more compelling choice. So their goals here, the bullet points, is pulse rifle is optimal at medium range, but can still effectively harass enemies at close or long range distances. Rate of fire sets a pace for players to both track moving targets and then deliver precision damage in bursts. Changes: increased base damage of pulse rifles by 9.7%. DPS is now more in line with other primaries. So this is a pretty clear-cut change. They want to just push pulse rifles more because no one uses them. That's fine. I don't know if this will change my playing style again so much, but I have hung on to my bad juju and I still want to level that thing and maybe take into the Crucible once in a while. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think the 9.7% is nothing to sniff at. The increase in DPS I think is much needed, but personally I still think pulse rifles are in this uncomfortable middle ground between the full auto of auto rifles and the precision and range of scout rifles and hand cannons. So they're still in this gray middle ground that doesn't really make them attractive. Finally, speaking of hand cannons, they have nerfs for the hand cannons, and I'm not totally thrilled with them, but I do understand why they're being made. So just to go over their bullet points again, goals. Hand cannon is optimal at medium range. Hand cannon is optimal when shots are paced, become less effective when fired quickly. Rewards agility when under fire, precision targeting, and snapshots. Changes: reduce effective range. Damage fall-off starts closer to the shooter, and follow-up shots are less accurate at long ranges. Slight reduction to initial accuracy. This is unnoticeable at close to medium range, but underscores the range intentions when used from far away. So essentially, you want people to stop using the longer range hand cannons like scout rifles and sniper rifles. They find that hand cannons are basically stomping, on the territory that should be owned by scout rifles and sniper rifles, and that's fair enough. I hang back a lot when I use my Hawkmoon, and my Hawkmoon is capable of counter-sniping snipers. So, it makes the Hawkmoon awesome, but it also, it prevents me from, or it discourages me from really experimenting with other weapon loadouts. And it's not just the Hawkmoon, many of the hand cannons have pretty damn good range and they hit like a truck. So what they're trying to promote here is not spamming the trigger because your accuracy will go down at longer ranges, and really even if you have pretty good shots at long ranges, they want you to do a slightly less damage. And yeah, I initially thought, is this sort of like a accidental nerf to the last word as well? But no, not really, because you're using the last word in close to medium ranges anyway, and the range and last word is already pretty crap. So really, it's just gonna be a slight hindrance to something like Teamer's Lash, Hawkmoon, even something like Thorn. And it's, I talked about the Thorn a couple weeks back, comparing the perks, Send It, and Perfect Balance. I think it's going to be a more meaningful choice now to, when you make your weapon loaded decisions, what you're going to do. You're going to go for range, or you're going to go for that close range accuracy. And again, it's going to make two separate counts of hand cannons. You want to go in close, medium range most of the time, or you always want to hang back. Sorry, I'm tripping over myself. You always want to hang back. So anyway, end of the video here. I kind of ran out of time, but thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the footage, and tell me what you think about these balance changes. Alright, I'll see you all next week. Thanks for watching. Ciao.